Welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay.
Welcome to another episode of Pit Lane Parlay. I'm your host, Mike Jokum. It's F1 Trivia Week, led by the Frenchman Michael Goodier, and joined today by Mr. Dinevski and Mr. Hickey, and we're going to be competing against each other. I can pretty much guarantee you now I am not going to win. So I'm expecting Matt and Christian to run away and leave me in last place by far. Let's dive right into it, guys. We've got Jeopardy style again, like we did for IndyCar. Frenchie, why don't you introduce the topics and we'll jump right into it.
Sounds good. So I've got a couple different categories today for you guys to compete on. The first one is track facts, which just basically deals with F1 circuits. Hall of Shame, which I guess you can kind of guess what that is, just basically embarrassing tidbits of trivia that the drivers and teams would probably be a little bit ashamed to, recall or recollect. Back in the day, I couldn't really think of a name. So I think that's just like the origins of things that I was finding in my research. Overlooked and obscure, that's some weird stuff that I'm hoping you guys will know. And then out of the ordinary is more or less records and stuff that happened only once or twice. It was very notable in F1. And most of these questions focus on, I'd say, probably from the early 80s to about the introduction of the halo, because that's sort of my wheelhouse of looking back at F1 history. So I guess I knew some of this stuff, but then I went back and did some research, and hopefully you guys will enjoy these questions.
Yeah, I'm in trouble, but Dinevski, since you are the guest of guests here, I'll let you pick the first topic.
So, quick question before we get going. Do I have to answer this in Jeopardy style?
Oh, of course.
Okay. I just wanted to confirm so that way I don't get docked for not doing so.
Yeah.
Can you lose points? Because then host probably should just not answer for the entire time.
That's mean. It's very hurtful.
I have some questions that have, I think some of the 500s have two answers for you to get the full 500 points. Like it's a two-parter, but I didn't think about if you could lose points. So that's up to you guys, the contestant, I guess.
I mean, I'm going to say no because I'm bound to be in last place, but I will accept losing points because I think that's how real Jeopardy works. So it's cool. I'll wear my last place badge with honor.
Sounds good. Then I'll keep that in mind while I'm doing this and scoring. And your scores should show up on the screen. I was doing some practice runs, so I think it'll work.
Cool. Okay, so I guess I'll just start off, go big or go home. Let's do track facts for 500.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
We'll see if we're onto something or if we need to scale it back right off the bat.
Okay, so this circuit has been the site of the most first-time winners in F1, with 9 different drivers having scored their first win here. The last occasion was in 2004.
How do I'll answer it, I guess, but I also don't know if this is certain. Let's go with, what is Monaco?
You got it.
Wow.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, truly.
9 different winners over the history. And yeah, truly was the last one. So 500 points on the board for Christian.
Look at this fancy Jeopardy setup. This is high class.
Until I do something like that, right? Oh, there we go. It works. Okay.
All right, let's go with track facts for 400.
So this track is the location of the hottest F1 race on record, with air temperatures of 108 degrees Fahrenheit or 42.5 degrees Celsius.
Beep.
Go for it.
I don't know what to do. What is Bahrain?
Correct.
I would have gotten that one, and I got nervous.
And it was at 2005 Bahrain that temperature was recorded. So the hottest F1 race ever, at least so far. 400 points on the board. Matt, choice goes to you then.
Let's do back in the day for 100.
Okay, so this driver was the first to win a Grand Prix using a semi-automatic gearbox.
Beep.
Beep. Damn it.
Christian had that one.
Who is Nigel Mansell?
Correct.
Jacques Paragua. How do you pronounce that track? Jacques.
Something like that. Isn't that the one where he booked a flight home early because he thought the gearbox wouldn't last?
Yeah, and later renamed it the Circuit Autodrome on Nelson PK. I could never pronounce what they used to call it though. Jacques Paragoa.
Yeah, sounds close enough to me.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really wrong.
Like I said, it sounds close to me. Doesn't mean it's right.
It's one of those words you look at it and still can't figure out how to say it for sure. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't think I've ever heard anyone pronounce it either. All right, Christian.
Let's keep it going with back in the day for 200.
Okay, so Gilles Villeneuve is perhaps best known for his tenure with Ferrari, but he made his first F1. 40 even? Got it. Go for it.
Who is McLaren?
Correct. So for everybody who can't see the question and has to hear it, the question was, Gilles Villeneuve is best known for his tenure with Ferrari, but he made his first F1 start for this team at the 1977 British Grand Prix, and the answer is McLaren.
Hey, Hickey's really good at this stuff, so I got to get my shot in while I can. So if it means cutting you off, I got to cut you off, man.
I was not going to get that one, if I'm being honest.
I do a lot of scrolling through Wikipedia randomly, so I have a bunch of these useless facts built up. Let's keep it rolling. 300.
All right. So the assets of this team were purchased by four-time champion. Go ahead.
What is Ligier?
Correct. So Ligier was what Alan Prost purchased to create his own team.
Oh yeah, sorry. Should we make a rule that he has to finish the question before we can beep?
Yeah, at least so. Like I read slow. I didn't even get to read the entire question before the answer was already complete.
I heard assets and Alan Prost, and he didn't have too many assets, so my mind just jumped to Ligier.
Starting to think my questions weren't hard enough, but so far these are not the hardest ones I wrote, but we'll see as we go on.
Look at my score and say there probably still are. So
we're with Christian at 800 and Matt at 700. Host Mike bringing up the rear with 0 so far, but that might change.
Mike, do you gotta go mow your lawn or something?
I wish.
Okay. Overlooked and obscured for 100.
All right, so many can name the drivers at the top of the all-time list for most starts, but this driver actually holds the record for the most race starts finished.
Beep.
Go for it,
Who
Matt.
is Giancarlo Fizakilla?
Nope.
Ah, my soul.
I'm not even gonna try on this one.
Can I have a secondary, like not as for points, but if nobody wants to answer, can I have a second guess?
Sure. Why not?
So wait, are we losing points if we're wrong or no?
No, Matt lost the points for getting it wrong on the first attempt, but I guess if you want to steal it, then you can try.
Yeah, his score didn't go down. That's what I was.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Okay.
Oh,
we're good now. Yeah, I'll punt.
Yeah, I'm out.
I think is it Barrichello then?
It's actually Raikkonen.
Oh wow!
At the end of last season.
Goodness.
And I saw two different sources that it's 260 or 267, depending on if you count starts or just races entered. But yeah, Raikkonen apparently now has the record for most races finished.
All right. Christian, I think it's back to you.
I thought it was Matt still.
Yeah,
Oh,
I suck. Let's do, what is it? Out of the ordinary? Out of the ordinary for 100.
All right. So Marlboro, best known for their long association with McLaren, was concurrently the title sponsor for this team from 1980 to 1983.
Beep.
Christian?
Who is Alfa Romeo?
Correct.
Nicely done.
Thank you, sir.
Right,
out of the ordinary 200.
So this was the most recent F1 race in which the leader finished more than a lap ahead of the field, ultimately coming home 2 laps ahead of second place Olivier Panis.
Yikes.
I think the notable part there is that Olivier Panis once finished second.
I feel like I saw this on YouTube somewhat in the last year, and I still don't know.
Yeah, I mean, once you say it, I will probably be like, oh yeah, but
yeah,
can't think of it now. So,
all right, the answer is 95 Australia. Damon Hill won by 2 laps.
Wow.
In the Williams.
Gotcha. I knew it was Damon Hill. I just didn't know which race.
Let's try another one then. Let's go for it.
Just go the same category, 300.
All right, so the car number 1 is usually reserved for the reigning world champion. But this driver's car carried the number in 1974 as it was not used by Jackie Stewart, who had retired at the end of the previous season.
Beep.
Matt?
Troy Ruttman.
Nailed it. I'm just kidding. I think Troy Ruttman goes back to like the 50s.
I was just
Maybe.
throwing out a name of a champion that I knew from the past. I'm just having fun here. I don't know.
Here's an Indy 500 champion.
Hey, Mike, it's better than your 0 guesses you've made so far.
That's fair.
It's easy
Does
for
anyone
you to
want try to
laugh.
steal it?
No, I'm good. These are getting harder.
All right, the answer is actually Ronnie Peterson had the number 1 JPS Lotus in 1974, even though he wasn't the champion.
I lost 300 on that one.
right.
Track Facts 300.
So for many years, the site of the British Grand Prix alternated between Brands Hatch and Silverstone each year. However, this season saw the last time the British Grand Prix has been held at Brands Hatch.
Beep. What is
Go for it, Christian.
1986?
Yep, exactly.
Oh, let's go.
Hey, remember when Christian was downplaying himself? That was cute.
Yeah. 200 Track Facts.
The United States Grand Prix was held in this location prior to moving to Indianapolis in 2000.
Beep.
Beep.
Matt?
Mike, why are you raising your hand?
What?
What?
You said beep, so I just like went to the next closest thing I could think of doing.
What is Phoenix?
You got it. I expected that to be a little bit more difficult because there was a long gap in between, but no, you guys are too good for me. All right, Matt, you're up for your category
Track
choice.
Facts for 100.
This country hosted its first Grand Prix in 2004, an event that was eventually won by Rubens Barrichello for Ferrari.
Beep.
That was like the same time. I don't even know who to pick.
Tie goes to guy in last.
All right, there you go.
I goes to Christian.
What? Shut up, host. How about you beep in once in a while? What is China?
Correct. 100 more points for you. So now you've got half of Christian's 1200 and host Mike still with 0. We're going to get you to answer one of these questions at least at some point.
I had Phoenix. I just wasn't quick enough.
Let's do Hall of Shame for 100. What is that? What is that going to be? Yuji Ide an answer?
This driver holds the record for the most driving penalties during a single season with 10.
Wow.
Beep.
Try it, Christian.
Who is Pastor Maldonado?
Correct.
I didn't know that.
That was honestly a guess, but it's like the easiest guess you can make.
I also have a fun fact there that he holds the record for the most driving penalties during a single race with 3 during the 2015 Hungarian Grand Prix. Like I said, this is the Hall of Shame. These records are going to be fun to go through.
So let's do 200.
All right, so this driver, racing for Arrows at the time, took Juan Pablo Montoya out of contention for what looked like a sure win by colliding with him at the 01 Brazilian Grand Prix.
Beep.
Schumacher? Michael Schumacher? Who is Michael Schumacher?
Beep, 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 beep.
No, go for it. That was wrong, unfortunately, Mike.
That's fine.
Who is Joss Verstappen?
Correct.
I feel like Matt's getting all these ties, man.
Wait, Mike answered first.
I answered first. I was wrong.
Fair enough.
Oh, well, no, we got to make Mike negative now. Hall of Shame for 300.
This driver holds the record for the most retirements during a single season, racking up a brutal 14 DNFs in 16 races during the 87 season.
Beep.
Christian?
Who is Andrea de Cesaris?
Nice one. Yes.
How do you know that?
Because he holds the record for, I might not want to give this away in case it comes up later, but he holds the record for most DNFs in his career. It's like something ridiculous, like 250 out of 300 races.
Yeah, it was pretty awful.
IndyCar, and I could say Dale Coyne because that would be much closer to being right.
Let's go 400. Hall of Shame.
Mike with the subtle shade.
Clearly quick, but often very unlucky. This driver holds the record of the most poles without ever leading a race lap.
That's tragic.
I've heard Martin Brundle talk about this before, but I can't remember his name.
You guys all know who it is.
Oh
I'm
yes,
sure.
beep. It's Teo Fabi.
Yes, you nailed it.
I remember that because he had a slick ride when you were Benetton, and then it just
Exactly. He had 2 poles for Benetton that year, and he actually had one the year before with Tolman.
Yes, and then Tolman turned into Benetton. So Michael Schumacher drove for Tolman. Overlooked and obscured for 2.
This team is the last to use Yamaha engines in Formula One, ending involvement by the Japanese manufacturer dating back to the '89 season.
Beep.
Matt?
What is Arrows?
Right.
Poor Damon Hill.
Catching up with Christian, 1400 to 1600.
Don't worry.
My internet connection is better than Christian's. Overlooked and obscured for 300.
The '84 Monaco Grand Prix is remembered for Ayrton Senna putting in a masterful drive to close in on race leader Alan Prost in the closing stages before the race was ultimately black flagged. But this driver actually shared the podium with the 2 future juggernauts of F1, finishing 3rd. I can't make the noise when the time lapses, but just picture that in your head or hear that in your head. It's Stefan Beloff actually driving for Tyrrell, finished 3rd.
Yeah, I would not have gotten that. I was about to guess, and I was like, nah.
You should have guessed, Matt. I fully supported that.
Well, thank you.
All right, Matt, I think back to you for the
Hall of
category.
Shame for 500.
Oh, okay. A backmarker staple throughout much of the 1980s. This driver holds the unfortunate record of the lowest points to starts ratio, having scored only 2 total career points over 111 starts.
No clue.
So I have like another guess, but I don't want to do it on a 500.
Oh, Spike, want to take a stab?
Yeah, Mike.
No, host, why don't you just do it? Just throw one out there.
The Cesare guy.
I think Andre Cesare scored more points than this, actually. I want to say.
He won a race, didn't he?
I think he won like twice or 3 times, something like that.
Yeah, he won
so
a
he
race
definitely
at some
scored more
point.
than 2.
The Cesare guy.
I wanted to say William Story, but I wanted to at least name an actual race car driver.
Someone with actual talent.
Yeah.
All right, so the answer is actually Giancarlo Fizakilla. He scored 5th at the 1984 Dallas Grand Prix, which, as you guys remember, if you watched that race, maybe 6 cars finished. So the total 2 points of his career came at 1 race.
This man started 111 Grand Prix.
Yeah, mostly with Osella, I think.
Ugh, they were trash.
Yeah, I've never heard of this person in my life.
Osella was terrible.
Most of his record is the red on Wikipedia. When you look, it's the did not qualify or did not pre-qualify, unfortunately. So
yeah, that makes sense.
All right. They did get a little bit harder. So now you've got all these high value questions left.
Yeah, can't wait for that. Back in the day for 4.
Okay. So this American automotive icon co-founded Dan Gurney's All-American Racers team back with him in 1964.
Beep.
Christian?
Who is Carroll Shelby?
Yes.
Let's go.
And I just learned that, so impressed that you knew that.
That was partly a guess, but yeah, let's
here.
go. Let's go with that. I knew that one for sure. 100%.
I had to throw in a bit of an IndyCar link with the Teo Fabi question in this one, even though
You can't
these
put
are some
IndyCar
F1 related.
sentence because IndyCar's talentless and F1 is God. Right? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Let's do 500.
Okay, so this one requires you to get both drivers correct to get the full points. So these 2 drivers currently share the record for the most wins during their rookie seasons with 4 each.
Beep.
Try it.
Who is Lewis Hamilton and Jacques Villeneuve?
Correct.
Let's go.
Wow.
Nailed it.
Proud of that one. All right. Overlooked and obscure for 400.
Okay. Force India celebrated their first pole position and podium, with Fizakilla bringing the car home in second at this track in 09.
Beep.
Christian.
That was the tie for you guys. Yeah.
Mike, you're not the host.
Is it me?
I would say it was Christian, but I'm just saying that because I know it's bothering Matt.
Laughing.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'll go. What is Spa-Francorchamps?
Correct. All right. The points 2,900 for Christian, 1,400 for Matt, and still negative 200 for Mike. We got to at least bring you back to a 0. You got to get some points.
Yeah.
Is there a final
Probably
Jeopardy?
gonna go is there a final Jeopardy?
Yeah, we're going to do a final Jeopardy.
Okay. I'll
Wait,
wait.
actually, in real Jeopardy, you need positive points to play. So, Mike, just sit this one out.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do overlooked and obscure for 500.
Okay, so this driver holds the record for making the most pit stops on the way to winning a race, having made 6 visits to the pits, once for a penalty during the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix.
Beep.
Beep.
Matt?
What is Jensen Button?
Correct.
Or who? What? Jensen is now a what? All right, let's we got 2 left here. Let's do 400.
Michael Schumacher holds the record for winning the driver's title with the greatest number of rounds remaining in the season, having clinched his 5th title in 2002 with this number of races left on the calendar.
Beep. 4.
Mike?
4.
No, unfortunately.
Beep.
Matt?
What is 7?
Nope.
Oh,
Beep.
I was close.
Christian?
What is 6?
Correct.
I knew it was the French Grand Prix, and
Yes.
I was just
French
trying to do the
Grand
math.
Prix.
French Grand Prix was usually like 9th or 10th in the calendar. I knew it was like 16 or 17, so I kind of just took an educated guess.
All right, so out of
I
the
guess no
ordinary
choice.
for 500. All right, so while often remembered for the incident between Schumacher and Villeneuve, the 1997 European Grand Prix at Jerez also saw the 2 title contenders qualify with an identical time of 1 minute 21.072 seconds. And they were coincidentally joined on pole by this driver who also
Beep.
scored the same exact time. Christian?
Who is Heinz Franson?
Correct.
This is one I actually could have gotten. Christian was just quicker.
Well, I think what my thought process was is this is a 500-point question, and you're so far down that it wouldn't have even brought you to net 0. So I figured I could take that one.
That was mean.
So the fact that I have 1,900 points and have more than 2,000 points than Mike is fantastic.
Yeah. Listen, I'm just here to make everybody's day better than my own because that's the way today has gone so far.
Okay.
And so I can't even remember the way that it works on Jeopardy. Do you guys hear the question and then bet, or do you bet and then hear the question?
Bet and then question. So I will be bidding 18.99.
I'm gonna bid
All
net
right.
600.
Negative times negative equals positive. So that means he's going to be at plus 3,600 if he gets this right. That's some nonsense.
So are we locked in after we say what we
What you
what
bet?
we want to wager? We're done. We're locked in. Can't change it.
Yeah.
So Matt cannot change his wager.
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 0.
Okay. That's one strategy, I guess.
That's a unique strategy. That is all right.
Well,
Let's
well
go.
he said 18.99.
I would just throw out some random numbers. I don't know.
So that means the most you can get to is 37.99.
Christian, are you thinking right now?
I am. It's quick math.
You're asking the math major to do quick math. That's like not fair.
Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
go
ready.
question.
Okay. So this was one of the harder ones that I could find. But we'll see if it actually somehow fools you guys or stumps you guys. I'm not sure it will.
Do you just want us to DM you our answer? Or
Yeah, that works.
I don't want somebody in the group going on our coattails here.
All right, I will send it in a text.
How'd you know I was talking about you?
Okay, so what was Raul Boycel's best finish in Formula One?
What did I bid?
1899.
1899 is otherwise known as the year that host Mike was born.
Rough. I am getting crushed left and right all day.
I'm trying to determine whether I want to do like a legit guess or like just something completely absurd.
I mean, you bid 0, so does it really matter?
Well, that's my point. I'll go
What
with
are those
absurd.
barber tickets?
Yeah, I got 2 minutes. Don't worry, I have the website pulled up.
Christian's been trying all day to get barber tickets or whatever. The time was postponed and
Look.
not postponed, then it's just been a mess.
Look,
All right, so I've got all the answers now.
apparently you were supposed to receive an email if you went in 2019, and I didn't receive an email. So I'm ready for these tickets, man.
This email is sort of like William Story buying 51% of an F1 team in 2021.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, things that actually didn't happen for 600.
Yeah, we got one.
I realize now that I was
Is he
supposed
gonna
to
be
tell you.
primary sponsor for Ferrari. Is that what's going to happen here?
All right, the answer?
I'm realizing that the way I asked you the question doesn't give you the whole answer. You guys didn't give me where that result came, but we can just go with this,
Okay.
Oops.
which made it more difficult. But this was a little bit easier since you don't have to tell me where. So we've got from Christian, Raul Boycel's best finish in F1 was 52nd place.
I don't think that's right.
Matt says 7th, and Mike also says 7th. And the correct answer is 7th at the Long Beach Grand Prix in 1983. So with double jeopardy, let's see. Mike basically ends up at 0 with double jeopardy.
I'll take it.
Christian bet nothing, so his score is 3,800. And Matt,
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Matt, you should have gone for it and tied him.
That's heartbreaking. No, because I still got to say I beat you by a ton.
I mean, that's not saying too much.
If I got that wrong, I was only going to get 1 point ahead of you. That's not good enough.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Well, Christian, nice work. Matt, nice work.
Thank you, sir.
Frenchie, nice
Thanks,
question.
Frenchie, for hosting it.
yeah,
Guys,
I'm impressed at how much you guys got.
I'm impressed that I even got one, and I got the last one. So
You got the right in answer. Was the only.
no, I will call it a win because at least I got something, and I will call it a win because William Story still does not own 51% of an F1 team.
For now.
Well, guys, I have some fantastic news.
Do you
Did
get
you
your
get-
tickets?
Your
I
ticket?
have barber tickets now.
Perfect.
Congrats.
Thank you, sir.
And that is your prize for winning tonight.
Your prize for
Yeah,
winning.
I
buying
got
your
my
own
prize for
tickets.
winning. Yeah, exactly.
You have to go to
That's
Alabama.
all right. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
You get to go to Alabama. Jeez, Mike.
The most F1 of places within the United States.
Did you-
Yes.
F1 cars at Barber.
Oh,
That would be
how
awful.
bad would that be?
Yeah.
It'd be fun to like see them ripping around there if you were in person, but
Yes,
on TV, good lord.
it'd be
All
pretty.
right, thanks, Frenchie. It was really nice of you.
Yeah, good work, guys. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hope you played along. Be back next week to make fun of Rich Energy more, and I think that will be our only topic next week.
Oh, testing.
Testing. Yeah, we can talk about how important testing is and how vital testing results are. No
Yes.
sarcasm in that answer whatsoever.
For sure.
Today's podcast is presented by Podgo. Podgo is the easiest way for you to monetize your podcast, providing podcasters with a flat rate for ad space so you always know how much you get when you include an ad from Podgo. I recently joined as a member, and you can too. Apply today to become a member and immediately be connected with advertisers that fit your audience. That's podgo.co at podgo.co.